Welcome back. We're wrapping up our discussion on cryptocurrency and the FTX debacle and where things stand now and where they will be going from here. And again, joining me in studio is Bobby Del Rio, who is the host of a new program here on the news forum, The Daily Drop. Bobby, thanks again for joining me in studio. So we've looked kind of at what happened with FTX or what we think happened, because again, things are still being investigated. But I'm glad you came on because it's been dominating headlines. And I at least, probably most of my viewers, but I at least wanted to make heads or tails of sort of what's happening. So there have been some thoughts, how do we go forward? What do we learn from this? And how do we better secure the exchange, or how do we protect investors who do invest in crypto? Some suggest that decentralization may be a solution. What is decentralization and what are the pros and cons of that?
Okay, so decentralization is essentially, and it's not, again, I mean, decentralization is not limited to crypto, right? But essentially, you're removing intermediaries, right? So it's this idea that nobody's in charge and everybody's in charge. In a way, it's like communism, which is probably not something that you enjoy so much. But I will say, the cryptocurrency community is really divided into camps, right? So you have like Bitcoin only, right? The Bitcoin maximalists and everything is just Bitcoin. Then you have this sort of decentralized aspect of the community. So that's also DeFi. It's really its own thing. That's really like computers are running everything, no people. And then you have centralized part of crypto, which is Sam Bankman-Fried, which is Coinbase, which is you get governments, banks. You get things that like essentially the way traditional finance operates. That's considered the centralized part of crypto. So I guess what people have to sort of contend with is, are you going to be more confident in, sort of automated computers kind of running everything, or like more of a traditional banking structure with oversight? There's pros and cons to both. I will say something that I just read very recently, actually, is that a disproportionate percentage of the hacks and thefts happened in DeFi, right? Which is the decentralized part.
Okay.
And I think it's because there's nobody paying attention. Now, with that said, you don't have, computers like stealing the money, but unfortunately, because the computers are just doing what they do, especially at the bridge point where essentially you're going from one type of crypto to another, you're seeing hackers exploit those vulnerabilities. So the reality is, even if you rely on the decentralized ethos for your money, there's still human beings that can find a way to intercept that dough.
My goodness. Okay, well, we'll have to, I guess, keep an eye on what method shakes out to be the best, or maybe there's a balanced approach, maybe both, and try your luck at both. And
I don't think it's going to be either or. I think it's going to be a compromise like anything else.
So how has FTX's implosion impacted some of the more traditional cryptos like Ethereum and Bitcoin? Those are seen kind of maybe more stable and safer?
Yeah, they haven't. I mean, they haven't been affected that much. I mean, everything is down, at least, from a sort of investment perspective, maybe like 10%. Solana is a big loser in all of this, which is essentially another layer one, which is like a competitor to Ethereum.
Okay.
Mostly because FTX was a big investor in Solana, right? So there's big ties there. People have been freaked out. They've lost a lot. Like they were already down like 80-90% from their all-time highs, and they've lost like another 80%. So they're down, I don't know, 97% from where they were just a couple years ago. But they're also one of the biggest communities in crypto. There's so many. I think they're still like the number one crypto in terms of daily transactions, in terms of people building on it. So I think personally they're going to be fine long term, but they're definitely struggling right now.
My goodness. Okay. And will crypto as a whole survive the FTX collapse? Meaning, is this new engagement now tainted? Are people going to be gun shy to invest in this?
I think retail investors will be scared for a bit, but institutionally, you see more people buying. I think it's just like anything, right? It's like a bad play. Like, put it this way: like, did people stop investing in the stock market or mutual funds or hedge funds once Bernie Madoff's story came to light? No, right? But you just check people out more diligently, and I think that's what's going to happen.
That people become maybe more scrupulous going forward.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Bobby, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a true pleasure to unpack this all and have this layman discussion with someone who knows what they're talking about.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you. Well, that was a fascinating discussion. Will that change your mind if you become a crypto investor or not? I don't know, but we're going to stick around on this story because I think we're going to be uncovering a lot more in the future on what happened with FTX and how that might impact you if you're an investor. For Counterpoint, I'm Tanya Granick-Allen.